there. Hey, George.
Hey, Darmarie. Good morning.
Hi. Thanks for jumping on the live with me. So, you know that I'm heading up some of the marketing efforts with Steve Forkham. I'm Darmarie Elder, COO and General Manager of SIPPIO, for those of you that don't know. And this is George Tarzi. George heads up innovation and development for us. And we just made an announcement last week about SIPPIO AI, which is called SIPPIO Beacon from a branding perspective. And I'm super excited about it. And I have a bunch of prep work I need to do today for marketing an event that's coming up. So I thought maybe the conversation I'm going to have with George to help me in that prep might be interesting for some of you that wanted more details around what Beacon is all about. So I know that we're really looking to change the experience that our partners and customers and carriers have with our platform and the interface. But tell me a little bit more about what that means to them, not technically, but how do I articulate it in just plain English about what it will do?
Yeah, absolutely. So SIPPIO Beacon is really going to completely change the way that you use the SIPPIO platform. Instead of doing activities with clicks, remembering where to go, training on a new platform, the goal with SIPPIO Beacon is to make all of those activities just as easy as having a conversation, just like we're having back
Okay.
and forth. You can almost think of it as your own, personal telecommunications Alexa. You can essentially ask it whatever you want it to do, place an order, ask it questions. If you have any technical questions, PowerShell questions, it will be able to answer all of those as well.
Okay, cool. So I like that. Maybe we'll explore that as a tagline, like and love Alexa at home. Come visit SIPPIO at work or Beacon at work.
It'll be just as easy. Exactly. Why not?
My only thing with my Alexa at home is one of them's name is computer, and I always forget which one is which. So then I'm like screaming at them and have to remember that we changed the name of it. I've also been using Copilot quite a bit at work. And at home too. My husband's even using it to do research on different things and get good answers. But one of the things I noticed though, using these tools, it's kind of like that game show Jeopardy, where you have to ask the right question in order to win the prize. So what happens if the partner isn't asking good questions, or they don't know where to ask, or let's say they're just a brand new partner and they don't know where to start with it?
That's actually a great question. The nice thing with SIPPIO Beacon is because we are giving it access not only to the internet, but we're also giving it access to internal documents and internal data. It already has the understanding and the context of what you're asking it. So if you're having trouble, let's say, getting started on a project, you can simply ask Beacon what you'd want to do, what the end goal is, and ask it for recommendations on how to get started. It will go through not only information on the internet, but it'll also go through all the internal documentation that we've given it access to give you the most complete answer and to give you the best start on any telecommunications project that you want to begin.
Okay, so you could actually ask it, I'm brand new here, what should I do?
Absolutely.
And
It will give you best practices, step-by-step things on what to do, and then you can just go from there. You can even ask it what's a good question to ask,
right,
and it would give you recommendations on what to ask it as well. Yeah.
right. And did you say that it's accessing the internet as well? So anything that's out there. I remember in the demo that you gave us that you asked Beacon how to make cupcakes. So that's kind of fun.
I did, and you know what? I bit the bullet and made those cupcakes, and I tested it for everyone, so they're good. You're good to go.
Oh, that's fun. So I'm prepping for a panel that I have coming up in just over a week in London, and the topic of the panel came about based on a survey that was done for Microsoft on the Operator Connect onboarding experience. Evidently, there's a large number of operators that really complained about the experience they had in onboarding. So can you give me some data points to talk to everybody about when I'm on stage about how Beacon will make the experience even easier and self-explanatory for them?
for sure, for sure. So with SIPPIO being an accelerator, you not only have access to SIPPIO's vast experience, the technical know-how, and our expertise, but now you also have that option with Beacon, because with some of these onboarding programs, those onboarding documents can be hundreds and hundreds of pages long.
So yeah, the Microsoft one is, I always say 76 pages of checkboxes.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's longer.
long. Going through going through all that documentation and retaining everything can be quite difficult. So the beauty with Beacon is you kind of have an inside ear that you can ask. I'm finished, for example, I finished step one. I'm on to step two. Can you recommend a few things? How do I start this? Or if you're having issues on one of those particular steps and you kind of want to figure this out on your own, you can ask Beacon. I'm having this error on step 4 of this process. Upload a screenshot, and it will go through that screenshot, look at the error messages, and come up with different scenarios on how you can come up with fixes for that. So not
screenshot.
I'm sorry?
It can read a screenshot?
It will be able to, yes.
Oh, wow.
The nice thing with SIPPIO Beacon is we are able to leverage the most up-to-date and bleeding edge AI models. So yes, you will be able to upload screenshots, videos eventually as well. It can go through, decipher those, and get you answers to your questions.
Okay, cool. So if anybody asks me what's empowering our AI, is it ChatGPT? Is it Copilot? What's powering our AI?
So because we are based in Azure, we are leveraging Azure AI, which is based on ChatGPT 4, which is the latest AI model right now. And this also allows us to stay ahead of the game. It allows us to stay on the bleeding edge of generative AI. As Azure AI matures, so will Beacon. So not only do you have the resources of SIPPIO and our development team, but you also have all the resources of Microsoft as well.
Right. All right. So that's good. You're sticking with the original vision that Adam and I had about doing all things native to Microsoft. So I appreciate that. You were talking about, you could ask it about different steps, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've noticed in some of the operators that we've onboarded is they don't really have a problem with the process because we've been there holding their hand every step of the way. And now Beacon will be there to help us hold their hands, right, and make us scale better. But it seems like a lot of the operators had just a hard time with life. And by that, I mean their day-to-day job and little activities that take a couple of minutes turn into a couple of days, not because it's tedious, but they have other things to do. So will Beacon be able to help us in keeping them to a schedule or sending any reminders or chasing up after them like, hey, you haven't taken the trash out. Hey, you haven't taken the trash out. Hey, you haven't done this. Well, because I think that would be, from my perspective, super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, one of the cool things with Beacon is because it is an AI model, you can speak to it as if you're talking to an assistant, for example. So you can basically say, we are beginning this onboarding process. Here are the different milestones. Here are the amount of time that it should take to get to those milestones. Good. And it will, constantly shut out reminders to you. Did you complete step 2? Did you take out the garbage? Did you do this? Did you do that? So it will stay on top of you to make sure that you get those tasks complete.
Yeah, I like that a lot, because then there's not going to be any more discussion about he said, she said, and who didn't get something delivered on time, right? Because you probably even do reporting after the fact and summarize it. Yeah. That'd be really cool, George, to send them a summary afterwards of everything that was done. And okay, all right, that's a good idea too.
Yeah. Well, and another beautiful thing about Beacon is you're going to see as 2025 progresses how it matures as well. So you'll be we're going to be adding feature after feature after feature throughout next year, to make it the most robust AI that's on the market right now, for sure.
Okay. Will it have like machine learning capabilities where it will teach itself and it will get smarter on how it answers questions?
Absolutely. As more people use it, as it gets more questions, as it answers more questions, as it understands more context, it will learn based on those questions. If it gives you a bad question for whatever reason, tell it that that wasn't the answer I'm looking for, and it will remember that next time. So the next time you ask it, it will kind of know how you want it to answer.
Okay. Yeah. When I ask Alexa to play Taylor Swift and then she sneaks in a song by somebody else and I tell her, don't do that again, she doesn't seem to remember that. That's her.
Beacon will remember. It's got your back.
Yeah. I know one of the other pieces of feedback that came up that people want to talk about or be interested in next week is ability to expand internationally. I know for our operators today, we offer them 82 countries, and it should be, pretty easy for them. But how can Beacon help with that international expansion? Or do you think the issues are maybe something else with that question? I don't know.
Well, it depends. So, for example, if they're going through, let's take an example of the Operator Connect program. Your GA, you want to add another market. Normally, you would have to consult Microsoft, figure out what to do. Where do I do this? Where do I open this ticket? Again, with Beacon, because we're giving it access to our internal documentation, you can simply ask, I'm in Operator Connect in these countries. I'd like to turn on this country. What are my steps? What do I need to do? So not only will it give you the exact steps and the procedure that you need to follow to turn that country on, it will also let you know if there are any regulatory requirements or anything else that you need to do in order to get that country fully up and running and ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that question is probably just education and something that we ought to probably focus on marketing a little bit about how easy it is for them if they want to leverage any of our countries to augment their own. And the tool set and Beacon is just there to facilitate the onboarding. But they just need to know we have the services to do that. So we're almost done here. I didn't want to go like too long, but your passion is creating great customer experiences through technology. And my passion is getting partners or carriers to adopt and sell this. So is there anything that our partners or carriers could expect in Beacon to help them with generating pipeline, new opportunities, or doing upsell? Because it's great that we build it all, but it's not like Field of Dreams. Like somebody's got to consume it.
Absolutely. And yes, short answer. So our goal with Beacon is for it to be not only your, assistant in the portal for placing orders and things like that, but it can be your own personal business analyst and sales analyst. So it can go through, for example, your customers, look at the subscriptions and licenses that they have, and you can ask it to recommend customers that would take advantage of other add-on services. You can ask it to go through the license list and see where you haven't offered particular services. So for example, show me my customers that don't have eFax, or show me my customers that I can offer a text messaging to, for example. Because it has access to your SIPPIO platform, it can go through that list, look at the customers, and recommend customers for you to offer these additional services too. So not only will you be able to, do activities like purchase new service plans, purchase new telephones, and provision them, but you can also ask it business related questions, and it will give you, little tips and hints based on your customer base.
So that's really cool. I mean, think about the amount of time and effort that would save somebody. I mean, if you're in there creating an order for one customer, you could say, okay, who haven't I offered the same technology to? Or you could maybe even do the beer and diapers marketing analogy, where men that go to buy beer at the grocery store, they typically also buy diapers. So they put them on the end caps if to walk by them or whatever.
Yeah.
So what sells with what? Because maybe it's just not something that the human mind has processed, but Beacon has access to that data.
Yeah.
That'll be really cool. We should do a blog series on how to use Beacon for the marketing efforts when we get a little closer to the launch. It's almost like, I don't know, you're like using it to sell itself. I don't
Yeah,
know.
almost, right?
Intando, is that the right word? In whatever. Entendre, I think is the word. But cool. All right. Well, this is super helpful for the event, and get ready, because I think when people learn a little bit more about Beacon and how we really help them with their onboarding process and managing their day-to-day, and can help them with marketing, I think we'll probably see a good uptick in interest. So thanks for spending time with me today, and maybe go plan some more cupcakes for baking.
My pleasure, and I'm way ahead of you.
All right. Bye, George.
Bye, Domri. Thanks again. Take care.
Bye.